Hello, the channel. Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're all enjoying the Scottish Football in the Sky, the SPFL special. We're back again to do the preview for the next weekend and the last weekend of the Sorare SPFL special. It's been really good. If anyone's been following me, obviously they'll they'll have seen that. So we're going to have a quick recap in terms of the first weekend, see what worked well, etc., and then we'll look ahead to all the fixtures for the weekend. We're going to look through all the different fixtures, not just Celtic. I know I've got Celtic top on, I've got Celtic tops on the background, and it's all been about Celtic, but that's not obviously the way it goes every weekend. And then we'll pick a couple of lineups. The first time I never put in all the lineups and sort of showed everybody. Obviously, these specials are quite particular as well because sometimes people have got similar collections or maybe even slightly ahead depending on what's happening and XP matters and all that type of stuff. So it's quite hard for me maybe to show all the super rare selections, etc. But we'll definitely get into some selections as well. We're not on the Guinness this time. World's best dad mug. Maybe not so much world's best husband because spent a good. You'll see the balance up here. There's been some spending. But anyway, let's have a look and see what happened in the teams, and we can go from there. So it was outrageous. So I was at the game, managed to get some tickets from the waiting list, which was really good. Flag Day is always an important day to Celtic. Quinny joined me there as well, and Scottish Bar Steward, Ian. So a really good day out. Enjoyed it a lot. A few beers were had as well. Sore head on Monday morning, as you can imagine. So we'll go through it. Firstly, super rare team. This was obviously spot on. Liam Scales hit the 100. Matt O'Reilly assist to Liam Scales was perfect as well. Furuhashi, I mean, it actually could have been a huge score. I mean, he scored. He was just marginally offside. He was denied Stonewall penalty. Looked really sharp. So a really interesting one to discuss for later. Carter Vickers, quite solid as usual. $2,000 for first, which is absolutely brilliant. I mean, did spend quite a lot, like getting the Celtic collections and everything together, but a huge chunk of that back already. Team 2 for Super Rare, Ellery Balcom has been a really good addition. Guy I picked up while he was at Brentford. Obviously, you can see that on the card. It was a bit more of a sort of punt on what was going to happen. Was he going to move on? Seemed to be quite highly rated. A bit of talk about maybe getting him a loan, which really has worked out perfectly for this competition. Matt O'Reilly again. I did say in the last video, got a Matt O'Reilly, it's not really a tough decision. He's just hit captain until somebody pays the 30 or 40 million or tempts him away with all the millions or whatever. You've got to use them. Johnson and Vickers again, and Nicholas Kuhn, also looking quite sharp there as well. Again, we'll come back to him when we're talking about the lineups. Burzik obviously conceded 3 goals. That's quite interesting because Celtic play Hibs next. But all 3 super rare entries returns on cash, which I'm absolutely delighted about. Team 1 in rare also came second, so never played Liam Scales in there. I don't have a Liam Scales in season yet. Actually, we're in the middle of the transfer window and there are some positions I think Celtic might look to strengthen in. So I'm not saying Liam Scales is under any threat for this weekend or whatever, but you've obviously got to factor that in going forward. For example, Greg Taylor's doing really well, but from a Celtic perspective, Celtic don't even have a backup left back, so there should be some competition coming in. So pretty similar team. Obviously smashed it. Casper Schmeichel looked excellent as well. 24th in rare as well. So sharing around the sort of decisives. Cal McGregor never got a decisive, but clean sheet for Balcom and Nicholas Kuhn in that team as well. And then limited as well, coming 4th. Really close to getting the treble podium. The treble, maybe we'll get another treble this season. But absolutely delighted with the overall performance. Pretty much cashing in nearly all of the tournaments, which is absolutely superb. There's no two ways about it. So we've got similar setup, obviously, for this weekend. The prize money and everything's all pretty similar. I've got Hibs against Celtic, so that game is on, I think, Sunday. We've got Aberdeen against St Mirren, we've got Rangers against Motherwell. Let's have a look at the other matches and then we'll look at the predictions as well. Dundee against Hearts. Dundee have been doing pretty well actually. Quite exciting derby, the 2-2 against Dundee United. Ross County against Dundee United in terms of the first game, so that'll be on Saturday. Ross County are a funny team. You do think they struggled at points last season, but we clean sheet for the last game week, which was quite interesting. Other fixtures: Kilmarnock against St Johnstone. St Johnstone weren't really that good against Aberdeen. Did manage to get a goal. Kilmarnock's an interesting one because they've got a European game midweek against Tromsø, and Aberdeen are playing against St Mirren at home there as well. So those are all the fixtures coming up for the weekend. So firstly, we're going to have a look on Predictor.fi. So if anyone doesn't know these sort of services, if you're kind of new to it, Predictor.fi is free at the moment. You can sign up. It will be paid at some point soon, but this is where I do my Celtic lineups. We'll still be mentioning them on the YouTube channel, and obviously we'll be going through them for the preview and everything here as well. The other service I use quite a lot is Sorare Probabilities. You can find Igalo's service on Twitter, S_probabilities, or just message me in the video and we can I can sort of pass you on there. There's nothing in it for me for that, but you'll see that I've been using this quite a lot and you'll see that it's been paid off. It's paid off, or has been paying off, and I find it really, really helpful. So before we go into the fixtures, teams and everything, I want to have a look at the stats. So on Sorare Probabilities, you can filter down to different leagues, etc. And we'll be doing something for the EPL, probably like the French league and things as well. JPL one looks pretty good as well, so that competition's up now if people are not just playing in Scotland. So fixtures for the weekend, no real surprise. Rangers against Motherwell. So I'm going to talk a bit about Rangers as well. Let's be fair and not just spend the whole video talking about Celtic. I would like to do that, but can't do that all the time. So best fixture this weekend, and I do agree with that. Rangers against Motherwell. It's home. Rangers Stadium's fallen down a bit. That's my wee dig in. Sorry, Rangers fans. So they're playing at Hampden. But yeah, sell out, I'd imagine there. Nice big pitch at Hampden, conducive to good football, etc. So XG, expected goals, 2.77, so nearly 3, that's pretty high. So that is a good fixture. I mean, that's pretty similar to Celtic stats for last weekend, and clean sheet percentage of 51%. Rangers did seem to play a wee bit better in the game against Dynamo Kiev. I watched that Tuesday night, so there we go. So this prediction is by Stu Lou. Hi mate, if you're watching. So Jack Butland in goals, no real controversy there. Tavernier 70%. Interesting one. We obviously got the European game has just been and gone, and then the return leg against Kiev, which is really crucial, is next week as well. So always some sort of risk there, and I agree with these percentages. I think that's pretty fair. John Suter in there as well. Robin Proper, so he was on the bench again midweek. He hasn't actually debuted for Rangers yet, and I think this would be a good time to bring him in. I think if he does play, there's a risk he doesn't play the whole game. You would hope he would see out 60 minutes if there's a potential clean sheet. And Ridvan Yilmaz, he's been taking some of the sets from what I can see from the Kiev game, so sort of left-sided sets. So an interesting option there if you want to go with somebody as a bit of a differential. Mohamed Diamande and Barron, both I like Diamande, not like him because he plays for Rangers, so I don't like him, but I think he's a good footballer. I think he gets a bit of stick sometimes, but the job he does, quite important, doesn't always translate into good SO5 scores, which we'll obviously come back to after we went through the lineups. Connor Barron in there as well. Tom Lawrence is playing that sort of advanced role in place of Cantwell, who's threw his toys out the pram and asked for a transfer, basically. Jeff Dare Matondo on the left. Matondo is not a guy I rate. He's capable of getting goals and things, but it's not really a guy I really rate in general. Jeffy's just signed. Vaclav Cherny is a guy everyone in Sorare will rate, so put in some really insane spells. Got an assist midweek, so he came off the bench again. I think he came on about 60, played about 30 minutes. So that's the first 2 games Cherny has came on. So I think you would expect him to start against Motherwell. I think he'll be fit enough for that. I don't think it will see out the 90 because obviously there's a huge game against Kiev, and then Danilo doesn't really seem to play, so Dessers will be up there with his customary 3 big chances missed, and then glory hunting at the end. So looking at Motherwell, they did get a clean sheet for their game last time. Was anything about home and Ross County was 0-0. So Aston Oxford played. Looks like he's been preferred for the league anyway. Always a risk of rotation there, but I mean he played pretty well, so don't see why he would be dropped in any way. Defence, obviously a few 90s in there, a few less certain ones. Lennon Miller at 60% is interesting. I don't think he had his best game last time, but I think he's one of Motherwell's best players really. But I mean this is not a fixture you're really looking to select Motherwell players for, I don't think. So just as a reminder for this fixture, so there we go. 51% clean sheet percentage for Rangers, nearly 3 expected goals, and from Motherwell's point of view, 8% win percentage, 8%, 9% clean sheet, and XG of 0.6. So actually, it's not a shooty in terms of getting a clean sheet, but, there's a good probability of that. We'll go on to Celtic next because it's the next in terms of the fixtures, not just because I'm in withdrawal for not talking about Celtic and talking about the blue half there. So XG of 2.36, clean sheet percentage 44%, 74% win percentage. It's me who does predictions here. So let's have a look at Hibs first and then we'll talk through. Thanks, GC Legend and all the other guys for getting these up so that we can get the preview done. Top lads. Joseph Burzik in goals, the guy I like. Hope he's crap at the weekend. Selfish Celtic supporter, I'll probably have him in teams, so if he gets a bit of that would suit. Big Marvin, Ekpiteta, he had an error leg to go, I think, last time. So Hibs lost 3-0 to St Mirren away, first round of fixtures, so they weren't really very, very useful. I don't think they're very useful again here. I mean, obviously, if you've got some Hibs players, you might want to just whack them in, but even if they did get a result against Celtic, which is quite unlikely, it's probably not going to be great SO5 scores, but you never know. Could be one of those games where it's expected to go a certain way and there's a few goals. Martin Boyle certainly is a dangerous player. And on the left-hand side here, Jordan Abita wasn't really so good the last time. Going to do a bit of more in-depth analysis in Celtic, so bear with me once we've done this and then we'll look at our teams. So this is my own prediction. Let's talk through that. Kasper Schmeichel was excellent. Distribution really, really good. Just looks like a really good signing. Composed, good on the ball. Getting involved almost in the build-up play. Greg Taylor, Liam Scales, Carter Vickers and Johnson will put them all at 95%. Johnson was a wee bit lower the last time, come back later from Copa America. Came off at like 60-ish minutes, so, minutes have been managed. We've got the Cup next weekend as well after this, so I don't really see any issue there. Midfield trio, absolutely superb. Celtic played very well, dominated the game, scored 4 goals, could have scored 6 or 7, perfectly honest. Kyogo Furuhashi, there's been a big protracted saga for Adam Ida, so, there's only really one choice for centre forward. They look really sharp as well, so pretty good option for this game. Maybe a bit more space as well if Hibs come out. Nicholas Kuhn, I think will play on the right hand side again. Looked pretty sharp, got his goal, missed a good chance as well, but contributed a lot and is looking a lot better. Left hand side, so the last time there were a few people coming on mentioning Maeda. I wasn't hoodwinking people. If you want to go back and look at my lineups, actually Maeda ruins 3 or 4 of my own lineups. So in all honesty, I'm leaving Maeda out this weekend. Don't care what happens. I know he's probably going to be training this week. So Brendan Rodgers said that he expected to get him on training field and take it week by week. So I think the most likely is a similar team again. I've given Forrest 75% because when Maeda's fit, he is the starter. I don't think Palmer really has a realistic chance of starting this. I'd be pretty shocked if he started. So I think we'll go with a similar lineup again. We skipped over to Sorare data now because I wanted to do a wee bit of additional analysis for this game. Just, a lot of people have Celtic stacks. I know you have Rangers stacks as well, but I've already confirmed I do think that actually the Rangers fixture's probably the best one. Thought it'd be quite an interesting thing to have a look at some stuff here. So let's run down through the fixtures and see what happened the last time we're playing against Hibs. So the last game, 2-1 away game, Alistair Johnson get a clearance off the line and then get injured. This is a theme, by the way, because I had a look at this earlier, but I'll come back to that. Adam Ida scored 2 goals. Obviously, he's not here at the moment. Liam Scales, pretty good performance. Really changed team. Bernaby playing, who's pretty garbage. Furuhashi come on and contributed from the bench. Paulo Bernardo played. O'Reilly was solid, but never got decisive. So pretty different in terms of sort of Sorare teams to what you would expect this time. Come back to formations. So I always think it's quite useful to have a look back at the previous fixtures. I'm not doing it for obviously all of the teams. This is a quick look at the one against Kilmarnock. Pretty dominant performance, really good at home as well. So you would expect that. So 2-1 away at Hibs the last time. When Celtic played Hibs at home, scored 4 goals. So again, Luis Palma did pretty well that game. I don't think he'll actually play. Pretty strong performance by Carter Vickers, who got an assist. Alistair Johnson, really strong performance on the right hand side. And again, pretty different team. all played that game. I think Furuhashi was injured at that point. Lewis Stevenson with a 0 on the left hand side as well. I want to have a quick look at Hibs now as well in terms of this analysis, because I think it's quite interesting seeing how they performed in this first game here as well. So Lewis Miller actually is a guy who I think sometimes can put in pretty decent performances on the right hand side, so I'm sort of erring towards more of the right hand side for Celtic. You'll see here that the lad Rooney from St Mirren got a 97. So down that side, St Mirren get a bit of joy. Obita hit a 35. So you've seen the projected lineups here. Actually, Obita is projected to play. So the reason I'm telling you this, I think that actually I'm going to be sort of favouring some of the teams, that sort of right-sided selection. We're having Johnson and Kuhn in there. Obviously Forrest and Kuhn can rotate a wee bit, but the last game Forrest started on the left. Greg Taylor was really good. Again, Miller can be pretty good down that side as well. So always good to think about stuff like that. We'll come back to that when we're firing in some teams. Third best fixture by the looks of it is Hearts against Dundee. Hearts impressed me actually. They've played pretty well against Rangers. So that game was 0-0. It was the first game. On XG in that particular game should have been 1-1 or 2-2. Anyone who picked a Rangers defensive lineup there lucked out, to be honest. Hearts hit the bar. Rangers hit the bar on the post. It wasn't really a 0-0 game. It was actually a good game of football. So 1.57 expected goals and 28% clean sheet percentage. So, for that fixture, it's a tough one for Hearts. Pretty impressed with Dundee. They've done really well since coming back up. Luke McCowan is quite a strong player. Some links transfer-wise, saying Hibs want him. Obviously, they'll have to pay the fee if they want him. John McCracken looks pretty solid in goals. Portales seems to put in some good scores as well. So I don't really have a huge knowledge of Dundee, but we'll have a look at the projected scores and everything after this as well, once we've went through things. Thanks again, Smoggy Pedro, for putting up predictions. Hearts. So Zander Clark started the last game. That kind of put to bed, I think, some of the rumours of the Craig Gordon starting, etc. There's always risk of that because it seems he's pushing for starting berth. In terms of outfielders, I can see why you've got some of these percentages here. Jan Danda started the last game and then came off. He looked quite impressive, but to be honest, and I thought that Hearts were pretty good in the middle. Gerard Taylor was excellent. I don't think he's getting any cards yet. He's one to look out for because he put in a really strong A performance, which is, against Celtic and Rangers, pretty good. Penrice, pretty good player as well. Kenneth Vargas and Shankland worked as a really good pair up there, I think, as well. So pretty interesting. I think Vargas more played actually up front than Shankland. done some of the link play, so they can dovetail a bit on that, which is really quite interesting as well. Next fixture, Aberdeen against St Mirren. I'll probably end up having to use it, well, we'll have to use St Mirren goalie, Balcom. So St Mirren have got midweek game against Tronzo. We really have a big squad, so probably not so much in terms of rotations. Aberdeen won 2-1 against St Johnstone, so breaking some hearts and everything there as well in terms of last 3 minutes to go, clean sheet. And I've missed the Kilmarnock against St Johnstone game, sorry. I'm getting carried away. I've had a full fat tea here. Kilmarnock 1.5 XG and 45% clean sheet percentage, which is quite good at home. The other thing to remember is Kilmarnock have still got that daft plastic pitch at the moment there as well. So anyways, let's make amends and we'll look at Kilmarnock first, then we'll go on to Aberdeen. He moved myself out of the way first. Right. So Kilmarnock's an interesting one. Celtic have just obviously beaten them. They made a few changes that game. They've got their own European campaign. So you see a couple of 60% and everything in here. Will things sort of settle down? They can be quite good at home because you've got this plastic pitch and teams struggle to adapt to that, and obviously they're used to playing on it as well. So it could be an outside shout in terms of a result there. St Johnstone do tend to be quite defensive, so it's chance for teams to put up a reasonable SO5 score against them. Joshua Ray doesn't have cards yet, but he's an under 23 goalie and he looks decent as well. Don't really know much about this St Johnstone team in general, but obviously we've displayed it up on screen here. You never know. You just never know what type of results are going to come out. There's no sort of two ways about that. The last fixture we've got to look at is Ross County against Dundee United. So Ross County up here first, 1.25 expected team goals and 32% clean sheet percentage. And Dundee United pretty similar, 1.15 expected goals, 30%. So these are very much fixtures that can go either way. That probably goes without saying. Now, Ross County's sort of up north, in Inverness. Sometimes teams don't adapt very well to travelling up there. Ross County beat Rangers here. Tail end of the season, last season, played very well. I think it ended up 3-1. Their tails were up. So they're at home. Maybe you would favour them slightly from that point of view. Ross Laidlaw, good few people have got him. Jordan White up front, etc. there as well. So, cheap stack might be a reasonable punt. Dundee United, again, I said the last time, they are quite a big team. They were down in the Championship, come back up. Jack Walton's number one goalkeeper. Tony Watt's fallen out with the manager, so he doesn't really seem to be in the running anywhere. Trapanovsky seems to be the main man for scoring and everything up front. So again, you might want to run something as a wee alternative. So in terms of the player database, the other thing you can do here on Sorare probabilities is you can actually go into the game week and you can filter to the specific competition. So I've got this filtered here. Oh, too far. Scottish Premiership. So see, we've got the league here, Scottish Premier League, and all these PSs are projected scores. So let's have a look through them and see if we can find any value or find anything to give you some guidance on before we look at our own lineups. The start percentages in here are from experts for Sorare probabilities, not linked to Predictor Phi, different service. So again, bear that in mind. So Malachi Boateng's just signed for Hearts, 30% start. I don't know why he's project scores so high. That might be a wee bit of an anomaly. Can't even say it right. Anomaly. Be slagging me. Can't even talk tight. An anomaly based on his last 15, etc. Michael Johnson won't start. I don't know why he's at 20% start for Celtic. Be minus 20%, I would have that as start percentage. Blair Spittle, a lot of his averages will be based on Motherwell last season. Be careful with that. Obviously now it's a Hearts. The Handa started the last game, so he has a bit of a rotation risk. James Penrice played pretty well against Rangers as well, so you can see that. So it looks like there's some value in the scores out with Celtic and Rangers here, because we've got some Hearts players, etc. appearing up here. We have George Grant there as well. Craig Sibbald, I think he's Dundee United, isn't he? He's not Hearts. This is where my knowledge is going ski with. Matt O'Reilly, so 77, no real surprise there. 80% to start. I would make him about 180% to start unless somebody actually buys him. Benny Beningame, again, our Hearts player, pretty solid player. Never featured the last time. I think maybe he's a wee bit lower than that in terms of start percentage. I think he's still injured at the moment, so probably be on the bench. I think Cammy Devlin, Hearts player as well. So some nice projected scores for the Hearts guys. So if you've got Heart Stack, it'll give you a wee bit of heart for one, for a better word. Portales is Dundee. You mentioned him earlier. 80% to start. He should start, I think. Dahanda and Shankland both 70s. So those are quite high projected scores. No two ways about it. Mark Birigiti doesn't play for Dundee United anymore. Still just showing up because of the data there. Just opt a thing. Vaclav Cherny, projected 70. I do think that that he'll make an impact in this game week. He looked quite sharp when he came on. One each away to Dynamo Kiev is a pretty good result for Rangers in Europe. It means they can bring them back to Hampden. And Cherny getting the assist, Rangers scoring quite late, probably give them a bit of confidence. So if I was a betting man, which sometimes I am, I think Rangers will win that game by a few goals. But it's a tricky one being between two big games, and Rangers have been a wee bit hit or miss, so there's no assurances in football. You've got to put your team in and see how it goes. John Suter, I think, should probably play, but there's obviously Proper might come in, so there could be some rotations there. Kingsley's just signed a new contract with Hearts, so again, some nice high projected scores there. Simon Murray for Dundee, again, been scoring quite a lot of goals in pre-season, so pretty interesting one. Stuart Finlay, obviously, is Kilmarnock, so home game there, we touched on that earlier as well. Pretty nice high projected score. Todd Cantwell definitely won't play, and then a transfer request. We've got Liam Scales with a projected 67, so the Celtic scores are not quite as high projections for this one. That reflects the odds, or the probabilities, for want of a better word, playing away against Hibs. So Hibs have started pretty poor, so if Celtic play the way they did at the weekend and Hibs play the way they played against St Mirren, then I think it's going to be in our hiding, but it's hard to predict that. So there we go. Celtic look as if they get a good fixture, but even Alistair Johnson projected 61, Kuhn projected 61. Be quite interested to see how all that plays out. But other guys coming in there, like Kelly guys, Lewis Mayo, Kyle Vassell, loads of different options for this game week. So it looks like quite a competitive game week. We've also got Xander Clark with a projected 58, in goals, Laidlaw with a 57. So there's loads and loads and loads of different options. So that should give you some food for thought. Sometimes you look at these games and you think, Rangers are at home to Motherwell, and okay, if Rangers beat Motherwell 5-0, it could be a similar scenario to last week where Celtic won 4-0. But that's not always the way football works. Sometimes the away team scores. Sometimes, as I said, just an off day. Maybe they're not up for it as much because there's one eye on the game against Kiev, which is important for the Champions League. Celtic are playing very well just now. Hopefully there's no adverse news regarding Matt O'Reilly, etc. It's on Sky, I think, Sunday at 12:30. So looking forward to watching the game there and enjoying it. And these are the start times for all the other games. So obviously my gallery is very, very Celtic focused. I forgot to show you earlier, so we'll have a wee sneak peek. Well, not a sneak peek. We'll have a look. Have a look at what I've spent my money on. So the balance is going world's best dad, but world's worst husband. There we go. Look away now. So I was always talking about the fact that in the past maybe you could win the top stars and everything with your Celtic guys, etc. Has been changes to All Stars, more focused on specific competitions. I've added Nicholas Kuhn to the collection. He's only had sort of 9 cards so far. It's a bit late coming out, and obviously I think he's a really good option for this weekend. But yeah, we've done some damage here. Bought Bellingham, bought Mbappe. We're going to start a Real Madrid collection as well. So again, this isn't really relevant to what we're doing for this, but I'm just hoping kind of inspires people a wee bit as well, because I put a good amount of money in, and I'm pretty pleased to get a really nice chunk of that back. There's no two ways about it. It's great to be able to get that back. But remember that it's all about the level that you're playing at yourself as well. So you've put in 100 quid yourself. I know that can be significant if you're depositing, etc. And if you get 40 or 50 quid back this weekend, that's a great result. I was having a chat with someone earlier, and we were talking about they used to put on football accumulators, etc. I'm not going to call it my William Hill here, but I have spent a lot of money in the last couple of days. But yeah, I looked a couple of weeks ago with William Hills, and I've got like a £10-20 a week balance, or not balance, maximum, a sort of deposit max on it, a deposit limit. And over the course of the last 15 years, I'm £7,500 down in William Hill. So, I'm going to spend my money in Sorare. That's, I'm not doing this video to try and sell Sorare to you. Obviously, I've had a great week. I've bought loads of nice cards and everything. I'm buzzing about it. I had a Guinness last night. Life's good. But there's a lot worse things you could do with your money. So spend responsibly, enjoy it, enjoy the specials. If you need any help, give people like myself, the other experts, the groups, a shout. So, limited. Now, one of the other things you can do with a spreadsheet here is you can go to your own players, which is quite handy, and you can filter it down. So game week 500 is the current game week, and where is it? Am I just talking rubbish? This happens sometimes. Bear with me. Yeah, it's game week 500. Talking rubbish. And then what I need to do is filter the league to all my own players from the SPFL. So let's find Scotland, Scottish Premiership. So this will just give me a quick summary of the projected scores. Though, don't know why Schmeichel's got no projected score. That must be an error with the data. I imagine that was quite high. So Liam Scales there, 67. Vickers 63. See, I'm gonna explain my wee strategy with Johnson, etc. Alistair Johnson, not Mikey. Matt O'Reilly highest projected score. Some pretty solid averages in there. 59 for Callum McGregor, and Nicholas Kuhn 61. Maeda 57. Furuhashi 54. So these are just projections, but there we go. So obviously I'm going to play Schmeichel, and that goes without saying. Now you can play in these lineups 3 season bonus cards and then 2 older cards. So for example, if I'm going to go with the right hand side strategy, which I've talked about, then I can go for one of my older Alistair Johnson cards. So I can get a wee head start on people, and I can use my 12.5%. Now that makes a difference. The podium last week I lost by 0.22 of a point, and that was a difference of $300. So these wee edges and things are important. If you've got your level ups or whatever, then just fricking use them. Like, there's someone that say, "Oh, it's better to use it when it's later on." Yeah, but you're not going to be saying that on Tuesday night if you lost the podium by 0.5 of a point. Just use them. Just do what you think is best for your own gallery, etc. Matt O'Reilly is a no-brainer. I do have a 14.5% one in there. So, I could do that, and then I can use the other 2 in-season cards here. I think when I'm doing this strategy, remember earlier we were talking about this. We were talking about St Mirren game. Rooney putting in a 97, loads of 8A there. Hibs didn't look that good down the left-hand side. So I think that's might or might not work out. Could be just talking absolutely rubbish, but I think that's an interesting point. So I'm going to kind of favour the sort of right hand side here. That's where Kuhn would play, where Alistair Johnson would play. Johnson didn't score as high as Taylor did the last time, but I'm going to do that. And then I think Furuhashi looks really, really sharp. So our decision here is, do we go with Furuhashi or do we go for the clean sheet? Obviously an away game, so might be a more open game, so it might be better to actually play for the goals rather than just the clean sheets. Now, the clean sheet play was quite successful for me the last time. Obviously, Liam Scales scored. Celtic did get a clean sheet. I think Celtic will control this game, but Hibs are at home, and they can be a tough game for Celtic at home. They've proven that over the years. You see the last game we looked at earlier was 2-1 as well. When Celtic played them at home last season and scored 4, but again Hibs scored. So, Celtic back four is looking quite stable, but there we go. As I said to you earlier, if you've got Matt O'Reilly and he's got a decent XP, you just press that C button. It's just as simple as that. That's the advice. He's an absolutely phenomenal player. He's on the sets, he's on penalties, he puts in AA. He's had a goal and assist in every game since start of pre-season, including the games against Chelsea and Man City. So that would be a projected lineup for limited. I'm not going to go into rare and everything. As I said, I need to be careful with what I'm doing. If I start showing people what I'm going to enter into super rare, maybe they can put in some strategies to counteract that, or maybe they can just copy my team and realise that maybe they can do a level up and they can beat my XP and makes them unbeatable even if I get the right result and everything. So I'm gonna leave it at that. So we've run on a wee bit longer than the last time, but I think that was a nice in-depth look at all the different fixtures. So just to recap, we'll come back to team fixtures. Does look like Rangers probably got the leading chance at this stage. Celtic, really good fixture again. It's away from home, probably looks better on paper than it actually is, but Celtic are playing well and, maybe a good time to catch Hibs whilst they're still getting players in, doing a bit of the rebuild. Hearts certainly got a chance. Wouldn't take Dundee lightly though. Hearts are a good team, but Dundee have done very, very well. Kilmarnock could be a sneaky one. I think Kilmarnock and Aberdeen, although they're appearing further down here, those could be quite interesting fixtures. I wouldn't say interesting in terms of Kilmarnock Johnson. Maybe that's the wrong word, interesting. It won't be interesting. You'll be bored out your tits if you're watching that on the plastic pitch. Say aye to Kelly Pie, but could be reasonable for SO5. And then Aberdeen, Majovski, final mention for him. Guys did ask me to mention him. So Majovski in at 90%, but although he's in at 90%, there's lots of transfer rumours and everything surrounding him. Special shout out to Jamie McGrath, who hasn't really appeared that highly on the different sort of projected stats, because he really one good game the last time, but he was quite impressive on all the sets and everything. So what he did ask me to mention, that you've got to bear in mind that if there's some transfer movement there, Majovski maybe is a wee bit of a risk. So there we go. Hopefully I've given you all the tools to do as well as you can for the special. I'm going to record a sort of EPL is back type video. There's no special for that, but the cash prize and everything are absolutely brilliant in general. We've got the JPL coming back. I don't know if I'll do anything for that. Maybe just cover it in the normal lineup video and just give it a special focus. And we'll probably do something for the French one because as a special, and I might sneak in some wee limited teams or whatever. I haven't planned anything for that. I'm still absolutely balls deep trying to make sure the wife doesn't cut them off after all the spending. So anyways, if you see my wife, don't tell her how much I spent on Mbappe and Bellingham, right? Just focus on the returns and the wins and everything. Don't tell her. Anyway, it is what it is. I'm rambling on now. Thanks again for watching. I appreciate if you can give me a like and a subscribe, etc., or share on Twitter. If you have any questions, drop them into the video. And if you're playing the special, this is the way we always end. It's a customary fashion. Good luck and go fuck.